Hello, agents. Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights aims to give you the latest news and updates about the Niantic spatial game Ingress. Whether you're a veteran agent who has recursed 17 times or a brand new agent working to level 8, wondering what a fracker is, this is your place for the latest Ingress news and discussions. 2026 sees Ingress renewed under Niantic spatial and many new campaigns to engage agents. So, plenty to discuss. Share any thoughts by checking our social media links. Now, over to Ada.
Additional intel available.
Hello, agents, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. I'm not here this week, so I've recorded something that's a bit different just to make sure there's still an episode released for this week. What I thought might be fun, because this should be the 150th numbered episode. I've done way more than 150 episodes. There's been bonus episodes, interview episodes, things like that, but this is the officially numbered 150 episode. So what I've done for this one is go back to 2023 and downloaded the transcript of the first episode, and I'm going to run through this episode like it's a remastered version of episode 1. So we'll be going back over things you already know, things that were happening when I released the podcast back at the end of October in 2023, but with newer equipment, being a bit more confident, speaking to a microphone than I was when I originally recorded with the microphone I bought for £10-20 stacked on top of a couple of D&D books. So I thought it'd just be a funny little thing to do. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into doing that, and then hopefully see you all for a regular episode next week.
Is anyone excited? Because I'm really excited.
Hello, agents. I'm over to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by myself, PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress, and as this is the first episode, just talking about some news, who I am as an Ingress agent, then head into November and the Year 11 events. If you've got any questions or comments or want to share anything, feel free to do that via Instagram or Threads pages. That's appreciated. So on to introductions. I am PkmnTrainerJ, which is how you say that if you've seen me on various Ingress chats. I'm a level 15 recurse enlightened agent who would hit 16 by the end of the year. I do play all the Niantic games as well, although Peridot sparingly. And I'm also a Niantic Wayfarer ambassador, spend time getting involved in that too, doing reviews, nomination submissions, new photo portals, that kind of thing. I know the PkmnTrainerJ name moniker doesn't really fit well for Ingress, but it was a name I'd already used online in various places, so I stuck with that. All of that being said, let's get into a whole bunch of news. First bit of news that we have is going on already, and it's running until November the 17th. So this is phase 2 of the Discovery Anomaly, where agents can earn themselves the Anomaly Medal wherever they are in the world by completing 30 kinetic capsule programs before November the 17th. So I already have the official updates on here from Niantic. So phase 2, a global operation, will count towards the total number of agents claiming 30 or more kinetic capsule programs by faction during the operation window. Kinetic program claims between midnight 15th of October 2023 UTC and 11:59 p.m. 17th of November 2023 UTC will be measured, and the faction with the highest number of agents claiming 30 or more kinetic capsules will earn a 1.331 times multiplier towards their phase 3 scores. Kinetic programs that are in incomplete state or incomplete state being not yet claimed will not be measured, so just make sure you claim them. The winner of phase 2 will be revealed alongside the final score for phase 3, and a score status will be posted around the midpoint of the phase. In order to earn the Discovery Anomaly Medal for the participation in this challenge, an agent must claim 30 or more kinetic capsule programs during the operation timeframe. So for me, I already have medal for this. I use kinetic capsules quite a lot. I usually have a few running at a time, just burning cubes, hypercubes mostly. I tend to have an overstock of cubes. I'm hopeful we'll keep carrying on. Agents keep walking more and more. I've got my fingers crossed for a KCAP badge at some point. So hopefully we get that through at some point. On to the next bit of news. We got an update on the app. So it's Ingress 2.1 to 8.1. It was just that they redesigned the new agent tool to show new agents how to play before they trek to their first portal. It will go live after all agents update to the latest Ingress release. and they fixed an error message with the level 10 requirement for portal edits. Fortunately, I've not come across the latter myself, but they do seem to have redesigned the new agent tutorial, which is quite nice. Been a long time since I did the tutorial, but I remember it wasn't amazing when I did it. And from what I heard, it sounded like they were going to use agent ops for that, which is like a task-based system I think is coming to the game. We have already had one for a previous anomaly. I think it was MZPFK, something like that. So I'll like to see how that pans out. Excited to see how that comes in. And then now on to the next bit of news. This next news piece is sort of related to Ingress, but it's also related to Wayfarer, so it kind of crossed the line between those two. So Niantic Tintino on the 26th of October posted an update to the Wayfarer community forums regarding new way spots coming to India. So I'll read that and then get to my thoughts on it. So it says, "Hello Explorers, the Wayfarer team along with the rest of Niantic are incredibly invested in ensuring a good Niantic experience for all through the growth of our map. To do so, we'll be adding additional way slots in India in the coming weeks. These way slots will begin to show on our map as soon as November 1st, 2023, and added in waves in the weeks to come. While these way slots won't contain images, they will contain a Pokestop image in Pokemon Go and a blank image in all of the games in which they sync while photos are contributed to the way spots. We are excited to see our explorers in India add their photos and show their local community through way spot photo contributions. As with our previous Wayspot edition, we took your feedback about quality into consideration and ordered these Wayspots to ensure they meet our criteria. If you come across a Wayspot that you feel infringes our Wayfarer criteria, please report it through the appropriate reporting processes. While all Wayspots will be added to an Niantic map, it is still left to each game's inclusion rules to determine which Wayspots will make it to their games. Please be advised these new Wayspots will not be present on the Ingress map." So these way spots, even if they meet Ingress's inclusion rules, which is 20 meters distance between an existing portal, so if you put a new portal there that's 21 meters away, that's absolutely fine. This seems to have been the choice of the Ingress team just not to allow them in the India map at all, and there's been some negative reactions about it on the thread and the Wayfarer forums, but do share any thoughts if you've got fire threads in the Wayfarer community forums or the Ingress community forum if you do feel strongly about it. On some spooky news now, a vision of Dark XM Klue. So this news was posted on the Ingress news site on the 27th of October. It says NIA received a message from PA Chapow, I don't know how you pronounce it. "I found myself in a vivid dream, or perhaps someone else's reality, as I walked down a dimly lit street embellished with an array of festive Halloween decorations. I spotted someone in a zombie costume. Although her appearance did not precisely mirror that of Klue, I knew it was her. The fake blood on her had an eerie but familiar colour, a colour that reminds me of devastation, disorder, and otherworldliness. It was the unmistakable colour of Dark XM. The Dark XM Klue Halloween 2023 bundle will be available in the Ingress store from October 28th, 2023 through November 17th, 2023. So this is our Halloween badge for this year. The bundle with the badge is priced at 30,800 CMU. So it's not as cheap as some of the previous seasonal badges, Halloween badges previous years, or Sakura badges, things like that. This was picked up. Someone mentioned it to Brian Rose on Twitter, where he stated this was due to it being a seasonal character badge. And usually character badges are more expensive, so that's why this one isn't the 2,500 CMU you would usually see as a seasonal badge, because it's a character badge instead. I've used all my CMU balance and obtained this badge. I think it looks pretty cool. I've quite like the Halloween badges. Obviously, it's up to you whether you like character badges, whether you like seasonal badges, or whether you want to keep your profile clean of any of the character badges you didn't earn at events, things like that. And then now on some news regarding first Saturday in 2024. This update hasn't been shared by Ingress/Niantic themselves yet. It's on the Fev Games website, which obviously collaborates with Ingress for the first Saturday events. And if you've been playing some time, you'll know that during COVID, pandemic, and lockdowns, first Saturday moved online, so that all you need to do then was recharge or do certain actions and tick on that badge. That led to quite a lot of online communities springing up and running events and having kind of virtual tourism around the world, which is nice. But as of 2024 in January, Virtual Saturday is coming to an end, at least in regards to obtaining the badge. So I'll read the official update out. The 2024 Ingress FS update, that's posted on October 22nd by Mrs. Spectrum. In order to promote local community building, a core value of Ingress First Saturday, 2024 will bring the sunsetting of the online Ingress FS4 badge credit. However, we've heard you loud and clear you love the online community you've built through Ingress FS, and we continue to support the online registration process, event finder, and optional passcode challenge. How to get Ingress FS badge credit in 2024. To qualify for IFS credit, you must attend an in-person event and check in with your on-site AFS organizer. see your site's event-specific meeting location requirements. You must also earn a minimum of 10,000 AP. On-site decoding challenge restock portal event verification. These remain unchanged from 2023 for in-person events. Online IFS, registration is the same as always, however all elements are now optional. This includes the passcode challenge, auto score sheet and group photo. But what about if your location experiences extreme weather, civil disturbances or other events beyond your control? You can change your event to online within 72 hours of the scheduled event time. Your site will not be eligible for badge credit, but your event will remain in the event finder and you still host the social event with your local agents. The organizer's guide will be updated after December IFS to reflect the new changes for 2024. So as mentioned, this hasn't been posted on the Ingress news site, but it has been shared in various Ingress chats, forums, and other Ingress spaces. I'm myself at 23 out of 24 for the IFS First Saturday badge. I've attended a few of the ones that the Scotland group run on Telegram that have been virtual. So I'm now planning when to do the in-person ones for January and February. Another agent from Resistance did contact me about that, and it'd be good to get out there and see what people are still around. Do get the negative reactions to it as well, and have to know, be able to know who, if you've attended any online ones, whether you're happy about them going back to in person, whether we keep doing online ones even without the credit. And then now we'll go on to looking at November and the year 11 updates. So look ahead to November, as I said, the Ingress team have posted the 2023 Q4 events. So we have November and December's events already. I'm recording this on the 29th of October 2023. So I'll cover November's events this time and then talk about December's next time. So on the 4th of November, that's first Saturday. As mentioned previously, this can still be online, but it can be a virtual one, but you have to look to see which ones are nearby if you're attending in person. I'll probably do the Scotland IFS virtual one, as I mentioned, and then get my final tick on there. Then we have the year 11 events. So this is starting the 20th of November. So you get double AP for all actions, double hack output of building gear, resonators, power cubes from friendly portals, double hack output of attack gear, XMPs which strike from enemy portals. The drone cooldown is reduced to 11 minutes. The kinetic capsule program is reduced from 8 kilometers to 1 kilometer, and you can run 11 kinetic capsule programs in parallel. Additionally, the overclock glyph hack duration extends to 110 seconds, and you can deploy 2 level 8 resonators on the portal. Normally, it's obviously one at a time. And after the year 11 event ends, the Ingress year 11 medal will be awarded to all agents who've earned more than 0 AP between the 15th of November 2022 and the 20th of November 2023. So if you know a semi-retired agent that really doesn't log on that often, then prompt them during this time to log in, just hack a portal, get a bit of AP on there. The medals follow the same kind of design as before, so bronze is level 3, silver level 9, gold level 13, platinum level 15, and onyx level 16/recurse agents. We've not seen the design for the badge yet. I like most of the early badges. Mine only start from year 6. I think I started playing a few days before the year 5 event ended, or I was only level 2. Anyway, I didn't get the medal that time. So it's important to note that during the Ingress Year 11 events, the 1 kilometer capsule event is active. So if you've not earned your badge for Discovery Phase 2 at that point, it should be fairly easy to walk 30 kinetic capsules during that time, running 11 at a time, having them 1 kilometer each. Just make sure you've got the gear and the capsules before you start on that. Then on the 12th of November, it's Ingress second Saturday, so from midnight to 11:59 p.m. local time. At the moment, the way you get that badge tick is by completing any 6 unique Ingress missions. They can be missions you've done before, but they have to be 6 unique missions. So you can just keep doing the same set of 6 missions every second Sunday if you really wanted to. But you may want to go out and explore and find out a bit more. Then finally, on the 18th of November, it's the Discovery Anomaly Phase 3, and this is happening in Bangkok, Thailand as the main site, and the satellite sites in Italy and Atlanta in the US. Following that, there's Discovery Reclaimer Challenge running from the 19th of November to the 15th of December. So if you don't like walking in your kinetic capsules to get your badge, and you haven't been able to attend in-person Anomaly, you can instead reclaim 100 Machina portals, which will get you a badge tick. Then for Discovery, and similar to the kinetic capsule ones, the faction with the highest number of agents that reclaim 100 or more Machina portals will only 1.331 times the multiplier towards their Phase 5 scores. So for Machina portals getting reclaimed, just remember you've got to destroy the portal and then recapture it. So you could blow up the portal, put a level 1 resonate, and that'll be your tick there. Obviously, you can deploy fully and get more links, but just remember to deploy, recapture the portals to make sure you get your tick. That's it for November. We do have a smaller December and then look towards next year. However, I would note that every Tuesday is worth remembering there is the Ingress 2S Day, where you get double AP for your actions between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. I quite like this because it doesn't really overlap with any other game events in other Niantic games and allows us to get some extra AP. So that's always nice. I'm going to move on now to our next segment. So what I look to do each podcast when there's not a ton of news is put in a look at a feature. So I think with this one, with Discovery, I've talked a lot about kinetic capsules, so I want to go over those in a bit more detail. Within Ingress, you get a free green kinetic capsule, which is also called a common kinetic capsule in the coding. You can obtain this at level 4. This allows you to put in items that you can then brew a new item with. So you could put in, for example, 10 power cubes, which then translates into hyper cubes, which can be useful. Or you can just use it to sort of recycle items you don't use much, such as turning lower level resonators into higher level resonators. As I mentioned, you do need to reach level 4, and then you'll be granted the kinetic capsule in the store that you can claim on there. And within this, you can select a recipe, put in some items that you're ready to go. And to get the new item from it, you need to walk 8 kilometers usually. There are special events where this is lowered, as well as special events where there's new recipes to get on there. It's also worth mentioning any leftover quantum capsules, which were an old item in Ingress, got converted to kinetic capsules. So if you're going back to the game after a little time, the quantum capsules got retired and they were replaced with kinetic capsules to allow you to walk and generate the items that way. As Ingress is a game all about exploring, walking, getting exercise, makes sense to me as item doing this. It also helps see what's going on and get you some better items that you've already got. It means you can take some lower stuff, essentially upgrade into better items just by walking. As mentioned, you get a 1 common kinetic capsule, which is free, can be used forever and ever. However, you can purchase rare kinetic capsules from the Ingress store, or they can sometimes go in bundles with badges, sometimes be rarely hacked from portals. These are limited to a 3-time use. Other than that, they work exactly the same as your common kinetic capsule. So they can be handy for walking multiple things at a time. So as I mentioned with the upcoming event where it's 1 kilometer, you can run 11 at a time. And with this 1 kilometer, it's not going to take you long to get the Discovery badge for brewing 30 kinetic capsules. I'd love to know what other people think about the kinetic capsules as well in general. I think there's some people that would like to still be able to brew portal keys and get extra ones in the way that quantum capsules used to duplicate those. It's been mentioned a few times now, Brian, I think, but it hasn't yet happened. But I think that's all regarding kinetic capsules. So I move on to wrapping up this podcast before I ramble too much. Thank you everyone for listening to this first episode of Ingress Insights. I've been your host, PkmnTrainerJ. I'm looking to do this podcast every 2 weeks. I'll also be on the lookout for any guests and agents who want to come on and chat, have a discussion about the time in Ingress, thoughts on features, events, things like that. So if you do want to chat, you can always find me on Telegram under PkmnTrainerJ, or you can use the proper Ingress Insights social media I've set up. So there's Instagram, which is ingress.insights, and that's all got a related Threads account. We don't have Twitter or Facebook yet, so I'll see how those go and whether that's needed. That's all from me really for this episode in. So have a great day and happy hacking. Hey agents, just some more kind of chilled out thoughts at the end of that going through. So I think it's funny that obviously it mentions things we don't have there in Ingress anymore, like the forums, like Wayfarer, like Overclock. It's also kind of funny to think that just claiming 30 Connect capsules got you an anomaly badge. So that's wild now to think about that with all the changes we've had with anomalies since that time. It's also weird because I used to kind of stitch these together in Spotify for creators, and you could put the background music on them. I know I had the Grey Joe at the end eventually, and that was quite nice and soothing and chill to round things out. And now I don't have that, so it's a bit different. And looking at the Ingress First Saturday update as well, in hindsight of all the things going back to in person, and now we've seen the attendance figures that we get for the anomalies and the push there. Also, the mention of Tuesday, we don't have that anymore. We have the double AP on first Saturday instead. So that's I don't know, a bit of a change, a bit of a weird thing thinking about. It was only 3 years ago that we had all of that stuff going on. And then all the wave spots in India that I think are still there on the map. So I don't know if Ingress plan to do something with them at some point to clear them up and just delete the imports that have been in so the team can actually have decent stuff on there. When we get recon back, people will be able to nominate proper things in India, Brazil, wherever they've held these imports. Honestly, the only thing I really remembered from this as I was going into it was had the Dark XM Klue medal in there. I think that was my main point there. Most people know I enjoy the Halloween medals, so it's what I remembered from this episode. I think I did remember that I talked about the kinetic capsule programs, but I don't think I talked about them very well. So I probably owe talking about kinetic capsule programs in a future episode as well. Hope you found that okay for this period when I'm just away for a little bit. And like I say, we're back to a normal episode next time. I also completely forgot how I used to end the episodes if I did. So I just did my usual happy hacking thing. So now that we're ending this episode properly, I hope you have a great Sunday, agents, and happy hacking. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can do that in a couple of ways. So the easiest way to support the podcast is via Patreon. So you can find at patreon.com/ingressinsights. And there's a free tier, a $1 a month tier, whatever that is in your local currency, and a $5 a month tier. You can check out what benefits those come with on the Patreon. One other thing you can do that's totally free that helps out a lot is rating the podcast on your podcast service of choice. So where you can leave a rating or leave comments, that always helps increase visibility. And then finally, you can follow us on various social media channels. We use most of them, but the best one to follow us on now is Blue Sky. So that's just ingressinsights.bsky.social. Search for Ingress Insights on Blue Sky, you'll find us on there. Finally, sharing the podcast with friends, family, other agents who want to listen and get updates really helps out and helps get interviews with various Ingress people or other game-related people to then increase visibility more. So anything you can do from those is great. Thanks again for listening, agents. Have a great day.
Intel package transferred.